Hi everyone, it's Leanie K. Today I'll be sharing my experiment using recycled satin or polyester ribbon to make paper. You can check out my Kanzashi video to see where I got the scraps. The process I show here can be done using recycled paper scraps, and by doing this you will yield much more success than I had. As usual, I am joined by my very helpful assistant Z. First, you will need ribbon, scissors, and either a handy-dandy rotary wheel cutter or a blender. I did not have an extra blender just lying around, so I used my ever-reliable rotary wheel. So, if you're going to use a rotary wheel cutter, you will need a mat so that you don't destroy your table. Also, use a mat that you don't love. I almost destroyed my favorite mat. You will start this process by slicing up scraps of ribbon, and slicing up scraps of ribbon, and slicing, and you get the idea. If you magically have an extra non-food blender lying around, you can put some water in it, add small amounts of recycled paper at a time if you're going that route, and blend it up into a clumpy paper smoothie. Yum! You see the fibers all over my fingers? Yeah, you need to wear a mask to do this process, so remember all that work I did earlier? Slicing up ribbon? Though cathartic, I realized after it was all done that I could have just gotten some lint from the dryer, because that's basically what I ended up with. But it was kind of fun cutting it all up. And now for the mold and decal. You can see my wonderful husband helping me construct it. It took him much less time to do it and looked a lot more professional than if I had done it. If you don't have time or the ability to make them, you can just buy 2 picture frames and staple some mesh material to one of them. The closer knit the mesh, the better, and also the tighter it is attached to the frame, the better. So here is the point of the mold and decal. The mold is the frame with the mesh on it. It collects your fibers and strains out the water. The decal is the frame that creates the shape of the paper. You will also need some cloth to lay your paper on to dry afterwards. Okay. Into the water go the ribbon fibers, give it a swirl with your hands, and scoop it out using the mold and decal. Take the decal off, and you can actually just flip the mold over really quick onto the cloth. I did this convoluted cloth on paper, flip, oh no, the fibers squished up method. 100% would not recommend. Then use a sponge to get the excess water out. It helps it dry faster and keeps the fibers in place on the cloth. So, this is the point where the recycled paper making process stops and the Leanie K trying to experiment with ribbon fibers process continues. What a saga! See, paper is slightly water soluble. Slightly. So it sticks together more easily after it's dried. Satin or polyester needs some extra love and attention to do that. I called up a relative, a brilliant chemical engineer, and asked what I could use to keep the fibers together. He hummed for a bit, and then told me that many of the things that would work I would have a hard time getting my hands on, either too expensive or highly regulated materials. However, he suggested, since it is experimental, try some cornstarch. It's often used as a binder and cheap and readily available. Cool. To the straw! After dunking my pitiful leftover fibers in a cornstarch water solution, I lost a lot of them during the first attempt, not completely sure how. I began the process again. It was a soapy-like experience, and overall, a complete failure. Yay! You can even see where some little creature came and took some of my fibers for their nest. However, I still enjoyed the process. Perhaps in the future I shall invest in a crafting-only blender and try it again using recycled paper scraps. That's it for this one. I hope you were able to learn about the paper making process and were amused by my experiment. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. See you soon for my next adventure in the wonderful world of crafting!